Today, we're joined by Thibauld Berly from Impact Labs, who will help us tackle the fundamental question that brings us all together. What is nature tech? Why is it important? And how can we wield it? As this field rapidly evolves, we're seeing an urgent need for a shared language and framework to understand the diverse solutions emerging in the space. Thibauld will walk us through the groundbreaking Nature Tech Taxonomy project, a collaborative effort to map and categorize the technologies driving on transition to a nature-positive future. We'll explore why this framework matters, dive into our 5Ms approach as well, and discuss how this taxonomy can help organizations navigate the growing nature tech landscape. So, Thibauld, Impact Labs has been a member and a deep collaborator of ours for less than a year, and yet we've achieved so much together already. Before we dive into the subject, can you briefly present yourself and Impact Labs?
My name is Thibauld Berly, and I'm partner and founder at impactlabs.earth. I'm French, I'm based in Germany, and my career path led me from a service that was back then called Media Lab to the creation of a company that is called Impact Labs, and from marketing tech to nature tech. So I guess I've been trying to be sustainable and recycle my capabilities over time, if you want. And before I co-founded Impact Labs 2 years ago, I used to work 15 years on digitization and transformation projects for big companies, both on the consulting side and on the corporate side at L'Oréal Group, both in the headquarters in Paris and in Germany, in the country. So, and then about Impact Labs. Impact Labs is a pure player impact consultancy. We have a great team of data and sustainability engineers, and we have 2 specificities. On the one hand, we focus on growing impact companies. More than half of our clients and almost half of our turnover is made by impact companies, our collaboration with impact companies. And then we build bridges with the corporate world. And on the other side, the other specificity is technology. So this is where we are coming from. We know how tech and innovations are scouted, selected, implemented in large organizations. And we also believe that technology can have a great role to catalyze the transition that we need towards nature positivity. So we decided from the very beginning to scan the impact tech market and map the technologies in our Digital for Impact Tech Radar, where we now have like almost 1,000 tech that are mapped and qualified across the value chains of companies. Essential role of nature tech, this is what you mentioned, Paige, already, is to accelerate and to scale the transition to a nature positive economy. Nature tech are sort of a booster, a catalyst for this transition, as they make nature-based solutions more effective. They quantify their impact, they allow for their financement as well. And so nature tech are a bunch of tools that are necessary to implement effectively nature positive initiatives that can play a crucial role in climate change mitigation, in biodiversity loss prevention, in nature-related risk management. And what is important to note is what we don't see is tech only as a hardware technology or even digital tech. We consider technology in a broader sense, technology with a capital T, if you want, including, for example, social tech, organizational technologies, processes, institutions. For nature tech is four purposes. One of them being the deployment, so really enabling concretely nature-based solutions to be implemented at scale. An example for this is drone technology for reforestation, for example. Then second purpose is MRV, so measurement, reporting, and verification. Technologies are essential to track process, provide data for reporting, and verify the effectiveness and the outcomes of nature-based interventions. And this could be through satellite monitoring or eDNA testing, for example. The third one is transparency. So really bringing clarity, openness in processes and data, ensure stakeholders can easily access and understand the information regarding carbon, nature credits, and their environmental impact. And the last one is about the connection. So the solutions that help building links between local communities, information sources, markets, and enable the exchange and the conversation. If we take a step back and we look at the market, and what we need is actually to massively develop those nature-based solutions I've been talking about. But I mean, really massively. So according to the IPCC, it's around 1/3 of emission mitigation. Globally, that could be achieved through nature-based solutions. And to scale those nature-based solutions, again, nature tech is instrumental. So there are a few challenges on that journey that are becoming like more and more pressing to address. So one is the scale. So as you know, we are facing like a poly crisis with 6 out of 9 planetary boundaries already crossed, which are leading to significant environmental degradation, biodiversity loss, amongst other challenges. And as half of the global GDP is relying directly on nature, this is also a substantial risk for the global economy, which the global economy doesn't seem to understand, because we still have this huge nature finance gap, which is estimated to be around $700 billion per year. And it is also estimated that we invest globally 35 times more in our own extinction than in projects to restore or conserve nature. So this gap there, it is huge, and we need to fill it. Nature tech market itself, this ecosystem is super fragmented, and the pace of change in regulations, in frameworks, and also the number of new emerging solutions that are coming up is increasing, and it makes it hard for this market to scale. And if we want to accelerate the transition and face those challenges, there is a need for a common frame, a shared understanding of what constitutes nature tech and what are the solutions and the stakeholders that are involved. And this means we need a common language on the one hand. So this is what a taxonomy could provide, like a common framework, a common language to describe those various needs and solutions within the nature tech sector to facilitate the communication between the different stakeholders. We also will be able with this taxonomy to ease the navigation in this complex landscape. So to identify the right technologies and solutions for specific needs, but also delivering a comprehensive view of what are the available nature tech solutions and identify where a critical mass of providers already exist and recognize where are the gaps in the market. Another reason why we would need the taxonomy is it would drive the mainstream adoption by structuring and systematizing the approach of categorizing and understanding the solutions and the stakeholders. And the last point why we actually need a taxonomy, it's to support decision making, you know, to support like informed decisions in categorizing properly the solutions across different dimensions that we identified as relevant, that are technology, transition needs, geographical content, type of nature realm or biome, and then supporting the process of selecting and scaling nature tech at global level. What we wanted to do is to integrate the existing frameworks that were performing and already used across the board. So we look for inspiration from different players, and we looked at it across the different dimensions that we thought were relevant for this taxonomy project. So the first one, the most intuitive, of course, is the tech lens. We call it a lens. So it's a way to look at the market. So the tech lens, to develop that specific lens for our specific taxonomy project, we based our work on what Wildlife's inventory has done, what envisioning has done, which is very strong in visualization, for example, what we had done on the Digital for Impact Tech Radar at Impact Labs, of course, and also the 5 segmentation that is coming from the Nature Tech collective sector intelligence work. So that was from the tech lens perspective. Then we did the same for all lenses. The second lens is the transition lens. So what are the transitions that we need to enable through the deployment of Nature Tech? And here, what we did is we took the One Earth solution framework that was already there and working super well on different topics, and we tried to augment it, to make it more complete, to address all the challenges that we see on the market and all the transition that we deem necessary. And then the last point is the nature lens. And on the nature lens, we based ourselves on the One Region framework, which is super interesting because it makes it concretely attached to a specific region. Then we also worked on leveraged the TNFT biomes and realms and the planetary boundaries framework. So those have been the source of inspiration. How we see it is the aggregation of those 3 dimensions. It's not just a map, but it's sort of a 3D environment that you can consult, and leveraging a system of tags. It can be like query based, so the objective is that it can answer directly to very specific questions. And that's why we went to specific different types of actors that could be users of the taxonomy tomorrow, and that play, the little game of trying to imagine how the taxonomy could help. On the one hand, we had Clare Mondial, which is a leading impact investment advisory firm, which is focused on the sustainable use of natural resources. And for them, they could be leveraging the taxonomy to identify the relevant MRV solutions by type of biomes they are investing on. So they funnel their investment by type of biomes, and then they would need for each type, a certain type of MRV solutions, and this would be their entry door into the taxonomy. We also discussed with CI, with Conservation International. They were looking to generate nature credit as an example for financing a biodiversity conservation activities in the Yaguas National Park in Peru. And their need would have been, or the way they would have used the taxonomy would be to provide the solutions that would be relevant depending on the different frameworks and KPIs that are defined by the potential standards or verifiers like Vera or gold standards, so that they make sure at the end that they can report on the right KPIs to make sure they could build those credit schemes. And then we had one last example, which was OG Holdings, which is a paper product manufacturing company. They own large forests in Japan, but not only, like everywhere. And they follow a very structured approach to nature restoration. So they evaluate the baseline, they implement restoration projects, monitor the progress, conduct long-term assessment, and eventually want to generate economic value, such as credits from those projects. And for OG, they will be likely to require, customized solutions to support each stage of this process to bring transparency and to report on the outcomes. So for all the examples that we had, we noticed that the way they look at the taxonomy and the way they enter through the taxonomy is different. So what was important for OG and Conservation International is that it can be attached to a specific geography as well, which was less the case for Kilimanjaro, for example. So it validated the approach that you can't look at it through just one lens, and you need to have this nature way to look at nature tech, this technology entry door, and then this transition, which is the objective.